Hey everybody, welcome back to another Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. It's not Monday, which is my normal Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. It's Tuesday because we had Memorial Day. So big shout out and prayers to everybody who served and sacrificed for Memorial Day. We weren't able to do it yesterday, but we're going to do it today live on Tuesday. So it's Tuesday at noon. We're doing the Freight Broker Bootcamp Live, and today I'm going to share with you, just to give you a sense, I'm going to share with you 4 reasons why becoming a freight broker today is a great investment in your future. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So for those of you that are catching this on replay, hit me up in the comments below, #replay. I love to hear from my replay people, especially if you have questions after the fact. You can always drop them in the comments. And I do come back into these threads and try to answer those questions later. For those of you that are joining me live and are able to attend live, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you being here live. I do not take your time lightly. So today, because I know time is valuable, it's the most precious commodity we have. And so today, I'm going to do my best to fill in the blanks here as to why in 2021, I think it's a great investment to become a freight broker or a freight agent, particularly when you consider the next decade of what's going on. So I'm going to share with you 4 reasons. But before we do that, hit me up in the chat box. Hit me up in the replies below. Let me know the city and state you're logging in from. I'll try to give you a shout out, and then we'll go from there. Okay? All right, so what do we got here? We got John Killingbeck from New Jersey. We've got Leela Dawson from Lakeland, Florida. We've got Ebry from upstate New York. We've got Jay Ward from Dallas, Texas. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Kristen from Greenville, South Carolina. So we got a bunch of people that are just joining in live now. We got Javier Pena from Edinburgh, Texas, I'm assuming that is. We've got Vadim from Vancouver, Washington. Welcome, Vadim. So we've got Rosabel from Virginia. Welcome, Virginia. We have an unknown Facebook user from Dubuque, Colorado. And we've got Colton Lovelace from Dallas, Texas. More Texas in the house. We always get dominated by Texas. What state is going to outperform Texas in these lives? I don't know. It's going to be pretty tough. We usually have at least 5, 10, 15 people from Texas in here. Hey, we got Yogesh Goswami, my good friend from Goa, India, the rock star 7-figure freight broker from India. Still never been in the United States. Welcome, Yogi. We got Kaylee from Cary, Delaware. We got Rokabadu from, not sure, but from Miami, just joined my course. Welcome. Regina from St. Louis. We got Tanisha from Houston, more Texas in the house. We got Carrie from Cleveland, Ohio. We got Lavish Life of KKM from Florida. We got Tej Sethi from Toronto. So now we've got US and Canada, 2 countries in the house. Eric from New Hampshire. Kelly Trucking Express from Dallas, Texas. More Texas, and more Texas. We got Treacherous Bailey from Hampton, Georgia. We got Jessica Velez from Texas, Laredo, Texas. We got Joshua from South Carolina, Rick from Kansas City, Leslie. We got Alex from Dallas. We got more. We got some guy from the internet from Laredo, Texas. We got Dirty Broke 215 from Philly, Kelly Beverly from Orange, Florida. Thank you for joining me. They're coming in hot and heavy now. Raphael from Los Angeles, Truck B1111. Ready to be a broker. Awesome. Miguel from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Kelly from South Carolina. Martin from Selma, California. Okay, listen, you guys are coming in hot and heavy. Thank you so much. I'm humbled by you guys taking the time to be here. I truly appreciate it. I do these free trainings every week live, typically on Mondays, but today's a Tuesday because of the holiday. And today, for those of you that are just joining me, I'm going to share with you 4 reasons. 4 reasons why becoming a freight broker today is a great investment in your future. Okay, so I'm going to share you 4 dynamics, 4 things that are very important for you to consider if you're thinking about becoming a freight broker, or you're thinking about becoming a freight agent, or maybe you just got started and you're looking for some additional validation and confidence this is going to be a good session for you today. But before we do that, let's do a quick giveaway. Who wants a shirt? Freightpreneur, fixing, or someone that solves problems you don't know you have in ways you can't understand. This has been a very popular giveaway. I've given away a lot of these in the last year. And I'm going to give away one shirt today to one lucky winner. Here's all you have to do. Listen in really quick if you want a chance to win this shirt, okay? First of all, you got to be in the U.S. because I'm only shipping it to the U.S. Second of all, here's what you got to do. Share the stream. Like the stream. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, hit the like button, then share it. I can share it. You can share it on Facebook. You can share it on YouTube. You can share it on Instagram. You can share it on Twitter. You can share it on LinkedIn. You can share it to people via email, but you got to share the stream. So click the share button, get the link to this live and share the stream. All I'm asking you, the price of admission here today is I don't ask you to get out your credit card, just share the stream. Plus you get a chance to win one of these shirts. I'll ship it to you. It'll go out this week. You should get it within about a week or so. Again, this is the coveted Freightpreneur shirt. You can't buy these anywhere, okay? Someone who solves problems you don't know you have in ways you can't understand. So we're going to have one winner. After you share, I want you to come back into the stream, come back into the comments and type in hashtag shared. Hashtag shared. That lets me know you shared it. Now it's an honor system, so I'm counting on you to be honorable. Don't put in hashtag shared if you didn't actually share it. But if you did, make sure you share the stream, okay? So do that now. I want you to do that now because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the training. I'm going to talk about this topic, and then we're going to do the giveaway right after the training, and then we're going to do live Q&A, okay? So I'm going to do live Q&A. You guys, whatever questions you have throughout this training, hold those questions to the end because I'm going to do live Q&A. I'm going to stay on here and I'm going to try to answer all of your questions, okay? I'll stay on as long as I can. But yeah, so that's the order, okay? So if you want a chance to win the shirt, make sure you share the stream and type hashtag shared. All right, so let's dive in. Remember, we're going to do the giveaway right after the training, okay? So make sure you do that now and then we'll do the giveaway afterwards, all right? Okay, so let's dive into the training today. Today, I'm going to share with you 4 reasons why becoming a freight broker today is a good investment in your future. Matter of fact, it's a great investment in your future. And I'm going to share with you 4 dynamics and 4 reasons why. The first reason is, and there's going to be a story behind this, is it's better to sell shovels than to dig for gold. Now, let me explain to you what I mean by that, all right? I got a lot of notes to go over here, okay? Let me explain to you what I mean by that. It's better to sell shovels than it is to dig for gold. Now, you might recall I think it was 1849, there was a California gold rush, right? There was a gold rush. Everybody's heard about the gold rush. Well, in the United States, of course. And so the fact is, very few prospectors ever made any money, ever got wealthy, ever even found any meaningful amount of gold. Very few, okay? There was a huge hysteria for everybody to go west for this gold rush, right? There was tons of people, prospectors and people trying to, win fame and fortune by finding the gold mines and to finding gold. And the gold rush is well documented, but the fact is most people that went on that journey never discovered any gold and actually went broke. Okay, many of them went broke and never ever recovered. But the people that made money during the gold rush were the people that were selling shovels and pickaxes and supplies to those prospectors. Okay, so they were actually selling the supplies. That's why I say selling shovels is better than digging for gold. Now I'm going to put this all together. I'm going to share with you the lesson here and the reason why I think this is important. Consider this. There was a couple of businesses that did extremely well during that gold rush. One was Levi Strauss. They sold jeans, right? You needed jeans. You couldn't have dress pants. You couldn't do shorts. You couldn't have flip-flops, which probably didn't even exist back then. But jeans were a very popular item, and Levi Strauss tapped into that trend and did extremely well. Another one was a gentleman by the name of Samuel Brannan. He owned the general store at Sutter's Mill. He sold general supplies. He sold the supplies to everybody that was going out to the mountains and streams to prospect for gold. And he did extremely well, right? So my point is, let me bring this full circle here. With the startup craze and the entrepreneurial craze that's been going on, particularly the last 5 or 10 years, right? My suggestion to you, right, is sell shovels. Don't dig for gold. Okay. So what I mean by that is, rather than you trying to come up with the next product or the next service or the next app or the next Uber or the next Facebook or the next Google or the next Amazon or the next great product, okay, rather than you trying to speculate and dig for gold, my suggestion to you is sell shovels. And becoming a freight broker or a freight agent is a perfect example of selling shovels and pickaxes, because you are the backbone of what drives those businesses, but you're not speculating. You're tapping into an established trend. Okay. So we know that there's going to be more products shipped next year than there was this year. Okay. And so the fact is that trend continues to grow, and that's job security. So first reason why selling shovels is more profitable than digging for gold. All right. Just like in the gold rush, selling shovels and becoming a freight broker, freight agent can be highly profitable, even more profitable than digging for gold, because people that dig for gold and or try to create the next app or Facebook, most of them are going to fail. Okay. All right. So that's reason number one. Number two, there is a well-known, well-established, and long-standing driver shortage in the industry. Okay. The industry is short drivers. Now, depending upon who you ask, that could be anywhere between 100,000 and 200,000 shortage of drivers. Now, why is there a shortage of drivers? Well, there's two reasons. Number one, most of the drivers are baby boomers, right? And the baby boomer generation is retiring. So drivers are retiring at a faster rate than the industry is able to recruit them, predominantly because young people that are in their 20s and 30s don't want to be truck drivers. It's not Instagram. It's not Facebook. It's not trendy. It's not sexy. And to be honest with you, it's a tough job and it takes work. And so they're having a hard time recruiting truck drivers, new truck drivers, faster than they're retiring. That's number one. Number two is retention. People that do get brought into the industry as a driver, a lot of times they don't last very long. They turn over, right? So they can't retain those new drivers. The reason being low pay, tough lifestyle, hard job. All right. So what's happening now is the rates and the salaries and the compensation for truck drivers are starting to ramp up. Now, they've been ramping up for years, but they're really starting to rapidly ramp up now. So there's a huge shortage of drivers. And when there's a shortage of drivers, what that means to brokers is that shippers have a harder time moving their freight when there's less drivers on the road than when there's more drivers on the road, because there's more access to capacity. This is where freight brokers and freight agents come in, because you as a freight broker, freight agent, you are the person who helps them manage and navigate and identify and generate truck capacity for their shipments. They don't have time to make 100 phone calls to try to cover a load. They don't have time to monitor a load board all day long and just try to hopefully come up with a truck of somebody who may have never been vetted or have any real experience. That's why freight brokers and freight agents exist. So that driver shortage is a perfect dynamic on why you want to start a freight brokerage today, okay? Because that dynamic gives you a launch pad to be more valuable to shippers around the world, okay? Particularly in the US, but around the world, all right? So that's reason number two. Reason number three is just glaringly obvious, right? The population today, or the population tomorrow, is going to be more than it is today. As a fact is, in the next decade, they're anticipating about a 1 billion person growth in the global population. In the next decade, there's going to be over 1 billion more people on this planet than there is today. Now, let's just do the math. If there's a billion more people 10 years from now, are there going to be more people buying products, selling products, consuming products, building homes, building, businesses? Are there going to be more people that are going to be building, consuming, and buying products 10 years from now or today? Well, I mean, it's obvious, right? The bigger the population, the bigger consumption of goods, the more consumption of goods, the more transportation, the more freight and logistics becomes a more valuable tool. So that trend is not going down. It's not going down, it's going up. Okay. So that's, again, more job security, because we're going to have over 1 billion new people on this planet in the next decade. So that positions you for success. Okay. So that's reason number 3. And reason number 4, this is something that a lot of people don't think about, but technology, the advancements in technology, including the internet, including load boards, including rating tools, including transportation management systems, including tracking systems, including artificial intelligence, machine learning, all of those advances in technology have leveled the playing field and made the small broker equally as valuable as the big broker. It's even the playing field. Now, when I started back in 2003, technology sucked. There was very little good technology out there, right? There was some load boards, but TMSs weren't great. And that's what caused me to go build my own TMS, invested over $1 million in building our own transportation management software. If I started today, I wouldn't have to do that. And I would just plug into some existing transportation management software and technology that was out there, because back in 2003, C.H. Robinson and all the big brokers had the advantage because they had a lot of capital to deploy and they had talent to create technology. So the difference in technology between where they were and where I was when I first started was huge, okay? But I had to invest over $1 million just to bring myself up to that level. Today, if you start today, you guys are almost parallel, because the transportation management software, the load boards, again, the rating tools, the tracking software, the AI, the machine learning, everything that's going on in technology has evened the playing fields for the small broker, for the startup broker. Okay. So those are my 4 reasons really quick. Shortage of drivers. Well, wait, no. Number 1 was selling shovels is more profitable than digging for gold. Number 2, the driver shortage. Number 3, the population is going to grow by over 1 billion people in the next 10 years. And number 4, technology has evened the playing field for the small guy, for the startup freight broker and freight agent. So those are 4 reasons why becoming a freight broker or a freight agent today is a great investment in your future. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, and you're curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. We offer a 60-day, 100% money-back guarantee. It's well known to be the most cost-effective and comprehensive online freight broker training program. Been in business over a decade. We've trained well over 8,000 students by this point. And I personally created the training, and I'm a broker who's done over $200 million in sales as a broker. Okay. And then went on to sell my brokerage. So I've had Freight Broker Bootcamp for over a decade. Feel free to check that out if you want to learn more about how to get trained as a freight broker or freight agent. Okay. Appreciate it. All right. So let me get a quick drink, and then we're going to do the giveaway. Who's ready for the giveaway? You guys ready for the giveaway? And yeah, Sheila Petty, you can get a certificate of completion at the end if you decide to enroll in Freight Broker Bootcamp. Yes. Shelly Petty, you can get a certificate of completion at the end. Okay. I won't make you wait for that question answer. Hold your questions to the end for the rest of you. Let me know if you guys are ready to for the giveaway. And then we're going to do live Q&A. All right. All right. So, all right, guys, listen. What you got to do in order to qualify for the giveaway, if you want one of these shirts, the Freightpreneur, the highly coveted Freightpreneur shirt that everybody's asking me to start selling, and I really don't want to sell. I don't mind giving them away. All you got to do, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, first like the stream and then share the stream. Okay. You got to share the stream. I don't care if you're sharing on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or Pinterest or LinkedIn, wherever you want to share it with your peeps. Let them know that I do these Freight Broker Bootcamp Lives every week for free. Okay. And then come back into the stream, come back into the comments and just type hashtag shared, hashtag shared. And then what I'm going to do is I am actually going to randomly select one winner. Okay. That's how I'll know. I scroll down through the feed. I close my eyes and I just point to one and boom, whoever it is, it is. Okay. It's not a highly sophisticated or technical way to do it, but it works very well on the fly. So that's what I'm going to do today. Okay. So you got about another minute here before we go into Q&A. About another minute. I'm going to give away the shirt and then we're going to go into Q&A. Okay. So hold your questions to the end. And I'm just checking to see how many people have actually shared the stream or who are actually sharing it. All right, cool. All right, good. We've got a lot of people who have shared the stream. So 30 seconds, 30-second countdown, and then I am going to give away the shirt. So hurry up really quick. Share the stream on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, wherever you're going to share the stream, okay? But make sure you do that if you want to qualify. And then I'm gonna mail this shirt out to you next week. Okay. So all you'll have to do is send me your address and your size, and I'll mail the shirt out to you, no problem. Okay. All right. So let's do this. All right. So I am going to scroll. I got to get to where let me get to where the shares start. Okay, cool. All right. So I'm going to scroll through really quick and then I'm going to point to one and here we are. All right. The winner is Kristen Williams. Kristen Williams is the winner of the Freightpreneur shirt. Here's all I need you to do, Kristen. Go to the Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page. Go to the Facebook page. You're probably watching this stream there now. Go to the Facebook page and send me a message. Send me a message through Messenger with your full name, your address, your phone number, and your size, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to send out I'm going to mail it out here in the next week. It'll come to you through the mail. And then once you get the shirt, put it on, take a picture and send me that picture. I'd love to see it. I'll add it to my collection. I got a whole bunch of people that have done it. Sometimes I'm able to share them and I appreciate you being here live. So congratulations once again, Kristen Williams, the winner of the Freightpreneur shirt. All right. So let's jump into some Q&A. Who's got questions? Right? Who's got questions? Type them in the chat box. I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. We have a limited amount of time. Let's see what we got. All right, we got a little bit of time. Let's do some Q&A. All right. Again, congratulations, Kristen Williams, the big winner. She's so excited. I'm happy. I'm glad that people like the shirt. By the way, on the sneak, kind of the DL, I am designing a different shirt that I might give away a couple. I haven't finished the design yet. I haven't gotten my first prototype yet, but when I do, I'll wear it. And then you guys are all going to want it because it's cool. It's cool. It's pretty cool. So, all right, let's see. All right, so let's see what we got. Questions. All right, so here's a question from Harris H. Calling shippers. How many times to call before landing to be onboarded with shipper? Okay, so you're asking me how many times do you have to call a shipper to actually get your first load? All right, now it can vary, but here's what I can tell you. It's going to be very, very rare on the first call to get a shipper. Okay? Very rare. It does happen probably about 1 or 2% of the time. Okay? Very small. But you can literally double, triple, quadruple your odds of success by following up with a shipper at least 5 times. So when I mean follow up, I mean calling, emailing, face-to-face, those types of follow-up. So you're going to need typically 5 to 7, maybe as much as 10 conversations with a shipper before they're going to give you the freight, before they're going to give you an opportunity. Now that can be less, don't get me wrong, but on average, you're going to have to make at least follow-up calls, at least 5 follow-up calls, 5 to 10 follow-up calls in order to get that order, in order to onboard that shipper. All right. So here's the good news. Now it seems like a lot, but trust me, it's not. Right. When you consider the value of a small shipper, let's just do the math. Let's say you land a shipper. It takes you 5 or 10 phone calls to land a shipper over a 30-day period of time. Just a hypothetical. And maybe in that 5 to 10 phone calls, you've invested a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours worth of work total with quotes and everything. Factor this in. If they're a small shipper and they only do 1 load a week, just 1 load a week, very small shipper, okay? 1 load a week at an average of $200 in profit per load. That's over $10,000 a year in profit from one customer. One customer. That's all that money as a small broker agent goes right in the Hip National Bank, okay? So making a couple $100 per load, 1 load a week, you can make over $10,000 a year. Now, just imagine if you have that customer for 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, how much that can add up. And all you did was make 5 or 10 phone calls and spend 2 or 3 hours working with that shipper to, 1, get their attention, 2, build their interest and desire, and then get them to take action. Okay? So pretty good investment. Good question. Thanks for asking, Harris. Robert, I don't teach trucking, man. I don't teach asset-based trucking. So Robert Crook is asking, I don't have a truck, was planning on renting a box truck. As brokers, we don't need trucks. We don't buy trucks. We don't rent trucks. What we do is we broker loads to other carriers. So if you're curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, you want to understand the dynamics of that, go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com, check it out. It'll tell you all about the training and everything that we do. Again, we've trained over 8,000 students in the last decade. All right, so JT Tao asks, how much time does a shipper give you to quote a load, considering you should call a trucking company for a quote first? Okay, so this varies, but here's what I'm going to tell you. Most shippers are going to be, when they're looking for a quote, it doesn't mean they have a load right that second for that day in most cases. Now that can happen, but as a broker, those are going to be pretty difficult for you to do same day loads, right? Because number one, you probably haven't done a lot of due diligence unless you got a lot of experience with that lane. You probably don't have a carrier in hand for it. And it's pretty risky if you're trying to cover a load the same day they're asking for a rate. Okay. Typically you're going to want at least 1 or 2 or 3 days lead time before the truck is going to need to get loaded. All right. That's just a little bit of a dynamic, but to answer your question, it can vary, but here's what I'm going to tell you. The quicker you are able to do the due diligence and get that rate back to them and respond, it will increase the odds of you converting them into a customer. So if it takes you 5 minutes to call them back and give them a rate versus 5 days, the 5 minutes is going to way outperform the 5 days. If you call them back in 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes versus 24 hours, you're more likely to get that customer in 10 minutes than you are if you respond in 24 hours. So my point is simple. You should respond as quick as humanly possible based upon how much you've qualified that shipper. So if you believe that that shipper is a good prospect for your business and they are in your niche and you believe you can support them and you've built enough rapport where they're asking for a freight quote from you, you should respond as quickly as possible to that quote request. Because if you delay, here's what happens. Number one, they start focusing on other things. Number two, that makes them forget all the rapport and all the goodwill that you've built up to that point. Number three, they might find another provider. Number four, anything can happen between now and then, okay? So the quicker you respond, you will amplify the opportunity to convert them into a shipper. So try to turn those quotes around very quickly. My suggestion is, in a perfect world, you'd always get back to them in less than an hour. Okay. But if for some reason it's a big bid package, or there's tons of lanes or lots of things like that, you definitely want to ask them. If you do have a lot of quotes to create, like if they give you 20 lanes or something, what you're going to want to do is ask them, listen, Mr. Shipper, when, in an ideal world, when would you like to see these rates back on your desk? I don't want to hold you up. And then get that from them. They'll say, if you can get them to me by the end of the day, that would be great. Or, hey, don't worry about it. Just get them to me tomorrow. Or, hey, I'm going on vacation for a couple of days. I won't be back until Monday anyway. Just have them in my email box on Monday morning. So that's my feedback. I hope that helps. All right, so I'm scrolling, and of course the feed just jumped, so hold on a minute. Congrats, Edlinks Bruno just signed up for Freight Broker Bootcamp. Hey, listen, everybody who's a Freight Broker Bootcamp student, if you've already a past or current student, hit me up in the chat box with hashtag student. Let me know who's in here that's already a student. I'd love to hear from you. Here's a question from Will Harris. How do you get a carrier or shipper packet? Okay, so a carrier or shipper packet. So a carrier packet, just for people that understand what a carrier and shipper packet is, a carrier packet is a digital packet of information that you send to your carrier. One, so they can qualify that you're a valid broker. Two, so that they can send back your broker carrier agreement. Okay, that's the basic broker, or the basic carrier packet. The shipper packet is the same thing for shippers. It's the basic qualifications to show that you're a valid broker. Plus, they can send you back a credit app or a broker shipper contract or whatever you need to have them send back to you. Here's what I'm going to suggest. Go to my YouTube channel. All right. YouTube channel. I will type it in the comments. Okay. Okay. My YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/freight brokers. Go there, search for shipper packet, go there and search for carrier packet. And I walk you through the entire process of setting up your shipper and carrier packet. Okay. It's a free training. Anybody can check it out. Okay. Just go to YouTube, go to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/freight brokers, plural. And you guys can check that out for free. Okay. Good question. All right, I'm scrolling. Harris, you just asked the $64,000 question. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, so because Harris asked, I'm going to answer the question. Do you have a training for calling shippers? Yes. After 10 years of being begged to create a freight broker, freight agent sales specific training, a few months ago, I launched what I call my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program. This is a specifically designed for sales. This is nothing but sales, okay? It's filling your funnel, following up, overcoming objections, differentiating yourself, sales cadences, creating, winning sales hooks, all these different strategies that I've used to win in the sales game as a freight broker, freight agent. I launched that a few months ago. It went over with rave reviews. It's sold out in less than 24 hours. Okay. Now I am going to be reopening that Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, hopefully by the end of June. Now this is going to be an online course format where you can go through at your own pace. Very similar to Freight Broker Bootcamp, but Freight Broker Bootcamp is for startups, right? That's the startup training, how to get started and making a little bit of money. This Freight Broker Sales Accelerator is a sales specific training that's designed to help you get to really dig into your niche, to stand out from the crowd, to differentiate yourself, to get shippers' attention, and to create a machine that allows you to get new shippers on demand, where you can continue to grow and you can accelerate your growth. Okay. So I take that piece of my brain, okay, that piece of my brain that relates back to freight broker sales, and I transfer it to you in this course, and it's called Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. Now, if you guys are interested in that Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, I put together a wait list. Okay. I put together a wait list because it's the only way I can do it. It's going to sell out again super quick, right? So I put together a wait list that allows me to notify everybody. If you give me 1 minute, I'm going to give you the link. That allows me to notify everybody as soon as I release it. Okay. So here, so if you want to get on that wait list, I'm going to put it in the comments right now. Okay. So I'm going to put that link in the comments right now. Okay. So there is the link. It's coming up right now. The link to the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator waitlist. You join the waitlist as soon as I release and open up the cart for enrollment. Okay. In the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, you're going to get notified. But you're going to want to respond quickly because it's going to sell out really fast, okay? It sold out in less than 24 hours last time. It's going to sell out again very quick. I'm getting tons of messages. I think I've got over 500 people on the wait list right now. So you definitely want to get on the wait list, and you definitely want to sign up quick when it does get released. I am working feverishly on the program. Matter of fact, some of you probably saw the survey that I did. I did a quick poll on the logo for the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. I created a new logo for it, and I really appreciate all the feedback. We had over 160 people vote on that logo for which logo they liked for the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, but I'm not going to tell you which one it is until I release it. It might be the one that you voted for. So that is exactly what you need. Now, there is some sales training in the Freight Broker Bootcamp, but this is a dedicated resource where I share hours and hours of sales training on exactly how to win in the freight broker, freight agent sales game. Okay. Good question. Thanks for asking. And make sure, if you're serious, get on that wait list. Okay. That doesn't cost you to join, but if you get on the wait list, it's the only way you're going to get enrolled in this is if you're on the wait list. I promise you. All right. Okay, so Miss Calix 87. All right, so you already have your broker authority and insurance. I want to build a shipper list to start making money. Okay, so there's different directories online. You can go to thomas.net. If you are a member of Freight Broker Bootcamp, you get a directory of shippers and manufacturers and importers and exporters and everybody. You get a newly updated, brand new, updated, and current shipper database of over 100,000 shippers. Okay. So if you're a member of Freight Broker Bootcamp, whether you need all the training or not, that database alone, that database that I give you access to is worth over $3,000 if you were to try to go purchase it somewhere. Okay. So you get access to it just to be a member of Freight Broker Bootcamp. So if you want to build a shipper list, that's a great way to do it. You can also go to free resources like Thomasnet. There are different directories online where you can look for manufacturers as well. Sophia Searles asks, does this course include testing your knowledge, taking tests? I'm not sure if you're referring to the Freight Broker Bootcamp or to the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. The Freight Broker Bootcamp does not have tests built into it, okay? It does not have tests built into it because there is no certification or testing required in order to become a freight broker or freight agent. Now, the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator has workbooks and different exercises and things that you need to do as a part of that Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, but there is no test, right? Because there is no certification or test that's required to become a freight broker, and there's definitely no certification that's required to sell freight brokerage. You just need the knowledge, and that's what I'm going to transfer to you. Rick, you can't go wrong with either one, DAT or truck stop. Try them both. Try one for a month. If you don't like it, try the other one for a month, or just try them both. I had them both. I paid for both of them because they were both worth it. One load, one or two loads covers the cost of the load board. If you can't cover one or two loads in a month with a load board, something's wrong. So I would get them both. That's up to you though. When trying to obtain contracts with shippers, should we already have carriers awaiting? Well, you're going to want to develop relationships with carriers, but just because you have relationships with carriers doesn't mean that those carriers are going to be in the right position to move your shipper freight. This is part of finding your niche. So you need to educate yourself on that niche. If you're doing, like when I first started out, I did van loads out of the Northeast. So it needed to originate and pick up in New York or PA or New Jersey or Massachusetts up in the Northeast, and it had to go west or south, and they had to go on a van. So I knew that's what my shippers were going to do because that's where they were located. That's where their distribution centers were. That's where their manufacturing facilities were. And so I knew it was van loads that were going to go west or south. So I was connecting with carriers that were hauling out of the Northeast, but I was also talking to a lot of shippers that were hauling out of the Northeast. Now, not all the carriers that I talked to matched up with the loads those shippers had because they were going to different destinations. Carriers have a tendency to run specific lanes. When they do an outbound load, let's say they're based in Atlanta and they haul a load for one of their primary shippers up to Boston, they want to try to take a load back to Boston the best they can. Okay. They may go to Ohio and then to Boston, but they want to get back or, to Atlanta best they can. So ultimately, just because you've made some phone calls and had relationships with some carriers doesn't mean those carriers are going to be used. So I wouldn't wait until you have all these carrier relationships before you start. Because the fact is, as a new broker or a new agent, a lot of the carriers that you're going to find and that you're going to cover your loads with are going to come from load boards when you first start. Now, as you become more established and more educated and you start moving more loads and developing more relationships with carriers, you're going to be able to call on carriers. Now, a lot of the lanes that we ran during that first year, when we first started running those lanes, like a Boston to Chicago van load, we needed to post that load in order to know who those carriers were. We identified the carriers. They started hauling loads for us regularly. But then after a while, we didn't even have to post that load because we just knew who those carriers were going to be. We would just call them up, offer the load, and boom, it'd be done. So it'd be super easy. But when you first start, I wouldn't wait until you have X amount of carriers to start calling on shippers or to start taking shipper loads. I would just make sure you've done your due diligence and you understand the rates and the capacity so that you can deliver. Okay? Good question. Thanks. Kirsten Williams, the big winner today, has a question. I'm going to entertain her. What is the best way to get contracts with shippers? I'm not being funny. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. It's called sales. It's called sales. And sales is about AIDA. Getting their attention, building their interest and desire, and getting them to take action. That's what my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program does. I can't take that piece of my brain and share it with you now. It just won't fit. Okay. I can't get it through the internet this way in this format. That's why after 10 years of people begging me to put together a sales specific training course, I finally got off my butt and did it. And I'm so glad that I did. The feedback that we got from the people that took the first course, right? The first enrollment, the people who were the beta group and the people who were the founding members, they were ecstatic. I'm going to share some of the testimonials with the success story that they've had since, Freight Broker Sales Accelerator when we do launch it, but it's called sales, right? And so you need to start having conversations, interesting and compelling conversations with your shippers. You need to find a way to be different. I'm going to talk to you about different is better than better. Most freight brokers try to be better. They want better rates and better service and better technology and better employees. Those are all great things, but it's impossible to be better than everybody at everything. But it's not hard to be different. And so that's part of what I teach is different is better than better. Okay. So you need to be different. And that's part of what I teach you in the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator is how to become different, how to sound different, how to create compelling sales hooks, and how to really truly get their attention and to differentiate yourself from the competition. So that's my commercial for that. The link is in here somewhere to get on the wait list for the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. It's in here somewhere. I've already put it in. If you guys are serious, get on that wait list. I'm going to be releasing that training this month. Okay. Okay, so don't misquote me, tax services. Why you said you didn't recommend to have your own authority and brokerage together. I didn't say that. What I said is I don't teach trucking. I don't teach the asset-based side. I teach brokerage. If you're a carrier and you want to start your brokerage, I think that's smart. Okay. But if you're a broker and you have not yet established your brokerage division and you don't have a profitable, highly profitable business where you're already profitable and have customers that are brokering freight, I don't recommend you going out and getting trucks because now you got to manage two different businesses and you're taking on a huge amount of risk and debt in order to start that carrier-based division. So if you are a carrier, let me state this emphatically. If you are a carrier and you're already making money as a carrier, starting a brokerage division is one of the best investments you can make because now you're not limited to the number of trucks you have. You're only limited to the number of loads you can get and the number of trucks you can identify from someone else. You can broker to carriers. But if you're a startup broker, I don't recommend going and getting a truck. I think it's too much risk. I think it's too difficult. And I think if you just focus on brokerage, you will grow. I didn't have trucks and we grew to over $80 million in sales. Okay. So don't sweat it. You can do it. Don't try to make excuses though. I think a lot of people try to make excuses that they think they need trucks in order to be successful as a freight broker. And that's just not true. Okay. I have tons of students. Yogi Goswami, multi-million-dollar freight broker, has no trucks. Franklin Ndekwe, multi-million-dollar freight broker, has no trucks. Monica Gonzalez, multi-million-dollar freight agent, has no trucks. Okay. Eloy Lozano, multi-million-dollar freight broker. When he started the brokerage he worked with, didn't have any trucks, I don't think, but now maybe they do. But ultimately, a lot of my success stories from past students, they don't have trucks. They're just brokers or just agents. Okay. Jessica, if you're filling out the broker application, it's not going to ask you how many drivers. And if it does, leave it 0. Because as a broker, you're not going to have drivers. So the broker, the FMCSA broker application, I don't believe is going to ask you for the number of drivers because it doesn't make any sense because you don't have drivers. You're not asset-based. Make sure you're not filling out the carrier authority. Okay. Make sure the broker authority. Marilyn asks, recommendations for getting carriers. Your number one resource for getting carriers is going to be the load boards. Okay. Particularly as a startup, it's going to be the load boards. So that's where you're really going to get the majority of the carriers. I would suggest that if you're looking for specific carriers, use the lane history. Most load boards have a lane history built in where you can put a lane in like Boston to Chicago van. And it's going to show you all the carriers that have posted trucks in that lane over the last 30, 60, 90 days. And it's going to tell you how many trucks that they've posted in that lane during that time period. The more trucks they've posted, the more demand that they have, the more likely they're going to be there. Those are the carriers you want to call specific for those lanes. So that's a tip, right? But load boards are going to be the place where you're going to be able to find and connect with the carriers that are important to you. The right type of equipment, the right lanes, the right qualifications, whatever that is, whether they need reefer units, whether they're vans, whether they're step decks or whatever they are, right? Power only, whatever, right? You're going to be able to identify them from the load board. I would say that's probably the fastest way. Beyond that, you can work from some referrals. You can go on LinkedIn. You can go on, there's probably some online directories, but those are going to be very difficult because you're not going to be able to identify what type of equipment they have, what lanes they run. A lot of times you don't even know what geography they're in. So I think the load boards are your best asset. Now, as a member of Freight Broker Bootcamp, we do have a carrier directory of over 100,000 carriers in that directory that you can go through. But again, you're going to have to search them by geography where they're located out of, and that may or may not help you, but we do have that as a part. Everybody who's a paid member of Freight Broker Bootcamp, you can check that out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Robert Crook, I've already answered that question. I don't know how to get insurance for a truck. I don't know. I'm not an asset-based carrier. That's not what I do, man. Sorry. You've asked it multiple times, and I think I answered it. Horizon Transportation Services. Dennis, I'm constantly running into our customers. Choose the carrier. We're customer routed. And we use FedEx, UPS. How the hell can I drill through and maintain communications to get their business? Okay. So first of all, if they're using FedEx and UPS, they're probably predominantly small package or LTL, which to me, I don't think are the best niches for brokers. You can do it, but it's tough. Okay. So I think you need to be focusing on full truckloads or large partials. Okay. Particularly as a startup freight broker. Now, as far as you cold call a shipper or a manufacturer of widgets, and they tell you, hey, we don't move the freight, we're customer routed. Okay. That means that the customer they're selling the product to is sending in the trucks, and they're assuming liability FOB origin, which means they are responsible once they pick that freight up on the dock, that it's no longer the manufacturer's issue. Okay. Some manufacturers do FOB destination, which means they have to cover the trucking all the way through to the shipper or all the way through to the buyer of that product, and they're responsible for it. So I don't want to confuse you, but ultimately you will run into manufacturers and distributors who don't control the shipping. There's nothing you can do about that. The only thing you can do is two things. Ask them if they would refer you over to one of their shippers. Second of all, particularly if they've ever experienced any issues with getting freight off the dock. Number two, you can ask them, okay, so your customers route the freight, but what about your inbound freight? What about your raw materials and your inbound freight? How do you get your freight? In most cases, you're probably going to control that shipment. All right. So they're outbound. It's going to shippers a lot. Sometimes it can be customer routed, but in most cases, they're inbound. A lot of times they may control that. Okay. So that's a question to ask them. So those are a couple of strategies that can help. Other than that, I'm not quite sure that following up with those people is really going to help, because if they don't control the freight, then you probably need to find somebody who does, and don't waste your time following up with people who can't control it. Helen, there are tons of companies that you can go with on freight broker factoring. I can't give you a best. Two reasons why. Number one, I've never used factoring myself because we had our own financing and our own bank financing when we started. Okay. We had our own capital. Number two, there is no best, right? There's different, depending upon different needs and where you are in your business. My suggestion is go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/blog. That's my blog. And search for the word factoring. And there's an entire article and video there that's going to talk all about freight broker factoring, the pros, the cons, using other people's money. And there's a list. You can get a list of 10 factoring companies that we vetted up to this point that have been in business and do good business. Okay. So go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/blog and type the word factoring into the search bar. You'll see a little window there, and you'll pull up that article and video, and it'll give you all the details. 。 . 。  . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . 。 . 。 . . 。 . . 。 . . 。 . . 。 . . 。 . . 。 . .
. . . . . .
All right, I'm scrolling through here. It seems like this feed keeps on moving. JT Tao, send a message into support if you're having issues with your membership. Send it to support at Freight Broker Bootcamp. All right, I'm for some reason the feed is getting all screwed up here. All right, so I'm scrolling. All right, so I'm still trying to find some interesting questions here. All right, so as far as I can see, all right, so here's a question. Martin Unger asks, can I get a bond, a surety bond, under someone else's name if I don't have the right credit? Yes, if they're your partner and they're on the business, you can use their social security number as the credit. So yes, if they are your partner in the business and they're a part of the business, you can use their social security number to for them to run credit on you. Yes, so you can do that. All right, and that will help if you take on a partner. Now, if you can't for some reason get the bond, or the bond cost is too much because you have bad credit, start as an agent. Okay. If you can't make money as a freight agent, you're not going to make money as a freight broker. I promise you. I just got off the phone, or we were texting back and forth. One of my past students and good friends, now I've known her for over a decade, Monica Gonzalez, and she lives in Texas, is a freight agent and earns over $300,000 a year in commissions in her pocket, commissions as a freight agent. When she started with me, and I met her that long ago, she was broke. She had very little customers. She didn't know what she was doing. Now she's killing it. Okay, doing extremely well. Bought a ranch, new vehicles, money in the bank, very happy, fulfilled her goals, and never became a broker. She just stayed as an agent because she makes a ton of money. So if for some reason you can't get your freight broker bond, don't worry about it. Become a freight agent. Start out as a freight agent. It's a great way to get started. Very low risk. I highly recommend it for people who don't have a lot of capital or don't have a lot of experience. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for today. Congratulations to the winner of the shirt. Make sure, I forgot your name, but make sure you send me a message on Facebook, okay? A Facebook Messenger message with your full name, your address, your phone number, and your size. Make sure you do that. Appreciate you guys being here. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you like, comment, and share. Share the stream. Let people know. And also, if you want to get on the wait list for the Freight Broker Bootcamp Sales Accelerator, not the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, which is that specific sales training, okay? What you're going to want to do is, I'm going to put the thing in here again, wait list, Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. If you want to get on that wait list, which is the only way you're going to be able to get access to that Freight Broker Sales Accelerator training when I release it here later this month, make sure that you get on the wait list. All you have to do, it's free to join. Just enter your number, and then we're going to notify you right away when that training goes live. Again, it sold out in less than 24 hours last time. So I'm expecting we've got a lot more people on the wait list. So I think it's going to sell out really fast. So if you guys want to get on the wait list, do that. And I will be back next Monday with another Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. If you guys want to check out some of my other videos, make sure you go to youtube.com/Freight Brokers, and you can subscribe to that channel. You get notified anytime I do new videos, because even beyond this live, I do new videos on that YouTube channel every single week. Appreciate you guys being here. Hope you guys had a fantastic holiday. I hope I delivered on my value proposition to you. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome week. And we will see you next week, Monday at noon, for another Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. Talk to you soon.